Najah, and this is my audition video to be a matrix artist. So today I'm going to be doing a vertical horseshoe on my guest here using my matrix light masters. I'm going to be processing that with a 20 developer, and then I'm going to be going in and toning. She is currently at a level, I would say 4, with a red tone to her. So because of that, I am going to highlight her and then tone her with a level 8 copper gold. And I'm going to be using my So Color Sync pre-bonded for that.
I'm going to be processing this with a 10 developer. Yes. So with that, I have my SMA set up, I have my foils, I have my foiling cone, my gloves, I then have my color bowl and brush. So again, this is my guest today. She is already parted. I did go ahead and give her a natural part. And with her natural part, I again said I went ahead and gave her a horseshoe parting. So that means that I'm gonna go ahead and leave this part here at the bottom untainted, and then I'm gonna go ahead and part this middle horseshoe part here, this part along here, and I am going to be taking pie sections from here, from her natural part. I'm going to be taking pie sections going around this first area and then going around this second area to complete, like I said, about a horseshoe.
Okay, so with this technique, you do want the foils to lay forward so that, again, it creates more of a horseshoe around the client's head. With this, again, I'm taking more chunkier sections, and you do want to stand directly, again, in front of where you're going to be while you are sectioning. So the ratio that I'm doing today is 2 parts developer, 1 part lightener, 2 parts developer. You do want to make sure that you are closing back up your developer after you use it. We don't want oxidation. Right, you want to give this a good stir. And again, I am using my Lightmaster pre-bonded. Bonding helps with lightning because we are already breaking those bonds. We know with the pH scale that we do have to raise or swell, the cuticle to a certain degree. So with the pre-bonded, I do love using the Lightmaster because it does help to rebuild those bonds in the hair while also safely lifting your guest. So I do like this one because of that. So this has a pretty nice consistency to it. You do want to go ahead and stir. Okay, till it's like frosting, okay? All right. So she is all stirred up. All right, so we have our lightener, we have our foils, we have our gloves on, and we are ready to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and split the hair off. I've already sectioned, like I said. Again, we are doing a vertical horseshoe on our guest today. We are doing, again, more chunkier strands just because I do want this to look a bit more in depth in the hair. So again, you want to be standing directly in front of the sections that you're going to be foiling, and you do want those foils to lay forward. So with this, again, you are using your foiling comb here. This one has the foiling end right here, the little tail. Okay. So for the sectioning for our slice, we know with slicing, it is not weaving. We know that it is, again, I'm going to take even bigger sections than this. Okay. And you are just going to split. Okay. You're going to go ahead and clip off. We do like to clip just to keep that order. You do want to go ahead and, I'm going to come a little closer. You do want to go ahead and slice. Okay. And again, for our foil, I do like to normally fold my foils about 1/8 inch to help me keep track of where we're going to, or where that lightener is going to stop as we apply it. So we're going to lay this forward, and we are going to go ahead and apply our lightener. So, you know, we try not to put our comb down, so I'm going to go ahead and place that in the head. And we have our lightener, and we're going to go ahead and add that to the hair. So again, where I'm applying that lightener and how is going to determine, for me, how I fold my foil. So we get that lightener on. Now I use my hand as like a tray to apply the lightener, just to help with the form and making sure that it's fully saturated. And you want to make sure that it is fully saturated to avoid any stripes in the hair also. So really getting that lightener on the foil is going to help. Okay. Once that's on, you want to go ahead and fold that foil. There we go. And we are off. So again, you are taking horizontal section, or excuse me, you are taking vertical section going down and around the head. And again, I said I am taking chunkier sections. And again, we are slicing, we are not weaving. So we want to keep that comb in the head. I am slicing. We're dropping that hair. And then we are, again, adding our foil. So again, for me, the fold helps because it tells us where we are applying, where we are stopping with applying that lightener on the head. And again, you really want to make sure that the hair strand is saturated because we don't want that foil slipping. So really getting that product on the head is going to help. Again, using our hand as a little tray to help us is going to really benefit us in the long run to make sure that that hair is saturated. Okay, and when you're working with lightener, you do want to make sure that the level, we do know that the level of developer that we're working with is going to be basically our gas and our muscle during the process. So we want to make sure that we are moving at a certain speed in order to be able to keep up with that. I love the Light Master with Matrix because I feel like it gives us that nice lift without, again, harming the hair. For those of our guests that are lightened already and or have their hair colored, it gives the hair that boost, but also, or excuse me, that healthy boost with also, again, helping those bonds. Okay, so molding our foil to the head. Again, getting that lightener nice and saturated on the foil is really going to help us work smarter, not harder. Okay, really getting that lightener on the foil. Again, I love using my hand to help me as a little tray. Now, of course, we know on our regular guests, things like strand test, pre-deposition test, 24 to 48 hours, I like to do before performing a lightning service. Sometimes on my guests, when I am not quite sure how they have a newer guest, if I'm not sure of their lifestyle with their hair, I do want to be sure that I am benefiting us both before their lightning service to make sure that we can do what it is that they would like to do with their hair. It doesn't help if they come in for their appointment and their hair is not in the condition to be lightened. So you always want to make sure that you are checking with your guest strand tests and other ways to keep up with their hair to make sure that they can achieve the look that they're trying to achieve. Okay, again, we have our lightener on the brush and we are applying again. All right, I just want to show you guys really quick how I am applying that onto the hair, making sure that it is really saturated on that hair strand. Okay, now I like to use my hands to mold the foil to the hair. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get these foils on and I will be back to show you guys how the horseshoe looks. So with the horseshoe, you do want to take a 1/4 inch vertical section and do take a slice off the top. We are not weaving, we are taking slices. So again, 1/4 sections, you do want to be taking those, and you want to be slicing that hair off the top. And what you're going to do is you're going to let that remaining hair at the bottom go ahead and drop. Okay. And again, you want those foils to lay forward so they start to create a horseshoe effect in the hair, as you can see. Okay. Now I am going to, of course, start the horseshoe and head to the other side. I'm just going to go ahead and stick that comb back in the hair. Again, that fold in my foil helps me be able to determine where I'm going in with that lightener and where I'm stopping. Again, with working with lightener and developer, again, the level of developer that you are going to use is going to be your muscle and about the speed that you are working with. So again, if you are using a 10 volume, it's going to be more of a, I'd say walk. 20 volume is a slight jog, more so running, maybe slight run. 30 is, okay, if 20 is a slight jog, then 30 is a run and 40 is a sprint. So you do want to be sure that you are utilizing your developers for what they are used for and the speed that they work at. Okay, so I'm working my way over to the other side. Again, working that horseshoe, slicing the hair. I'm gonna go ahead and clip that off. And again, I myself am taking chunkier sections as I work around the horseshoe area. So again, my client is at like a level 4 with a red hue to her. So again, with lightener, there really isn't a time span as to how long you leave lightener on. It is up to you. You do want to keep track as to the level of lift. We do know that there are 7 levels of lift, and you are paying attention to how high you want that lift to be depending on the deposit of toner that you're going to put on. And again, for my guest, because she has that red hue to her, I wanted to add more of a copper gold to her just to give that lightness underneath with her natural blend, like I said, of red that she has already. So again, taking chunkier sections, using my foil and comb, a 1/4 inch, splitting them off, and dropping that hair at the bottom there, and then going in with my foil. And if you need to, you can go ahead and ask your guests to lean their head over to make it more comfortable for you. I'm gonna ask my guests to do so. To make it more comfortable for you to lay those foils on, because again, our foils are going in the shape of the head. Again, using my hand as a little palette, the foils are going in the direction that the head is in, or laying on the head. So you do want to make sure that you are laying those foils properly. So if needed to ask your guests to go ahead and put their head over, please go ahead and do that. Okay. All right, so again, you are working from one side of the head to the other. That way the horseshoe is laying more so in a horseshoe. Okay. That my guest is comfortable. I would rather clip and make sure that the hair is out of both of our way, so no one feels uncomfortable during this process. It can be a bit much, even though the client knows what they're coming in for. You do want to be sure that it is comfortable for the both of you. You guys are going to be here for a while. Okay, so saturating, making sure that the foil is saturated. I absolutely love, again, the Light Master. I think that it is so useful for the hair. It, again, has the pre-bonds in it that really help with our blonde ladies, or our ladies that want to be blonde, or have highlights, or have lifting done to their hair overall. So we are coming up on our final foils. So I'm just gonna go ahead. I love the horseshoe because it's nothing. I'm looking all around, and my comb is in the head. I just said not to put it down. So I'm looking all around the head. I'm looking all around the head. I love horseshoe for the fact that it is very subtle, but it also gives our people who are pre-colored already a nice identifying factor with where they may want their highlights in their head. And it can give subtle, it can give honestly whatever you want it to, but I think that it's a pretty cool technique in the head. It's one of my favorites to do for lightener, or with lightener, excuse me. Okay, again, saturating the hair strand all the way down. Yeah, so for our thicker pieces in the foil, you do want to make sure, again, that you are saturating them enough so that that level of lift can actually break through all that hair and give you the lift that you are looking for. So you want to go ahead and fold your foils like them. And folds. Okay, so as you can see, we have a bit of a horseshoe going around with our guest. We are going to let this sit. I am going to check back in with you guys after I go ahead and check her level of lift to see what comes next. Alright, so our guest is processing lovely. I've walked away. I've been able to come back and ask her how she's doing. She is fine. So her level of lift is going very well. So I'm going to go ahead and open up this foil here and show you how she is processing. So we see that her level of lift is a bit, it's actually where I want it to be. I'm gonna let it cook for a little bit more, probably another 2 minutes. So again, we see that the design that we did here, or technique that we did here, was more of a horseshoe. This is going around the guest's head in more of a horseshoe direction. We have a natural part right here. We also, well, we have a natural part broken up into 2 pieces here, and then we have, again, the horseshoe going around here. When we drop these, the horseshoe is going to sit underneath this first layer of hair here. I think that's going to be very nice. Again, it's a very nice but subtle, emphasized but subtle design for those that already have like a tone or tint to their hair and they wanted to add a bit. Like I said, my guest here has a level 4 with a red hue to her. And again, we're going to be using the Matrix So Color in the color 8CG. So that's more of a copper gold for her. So that's going to be beautiful over top. And the level of lift that she is at right now, it's going to come out beautiful, I feel like. Fingers crossed. Again, we used the Light Master, Matrix Light Master. This is, again, pre-bonded powder. I love this one. This one gives us up to 8 levels of lift, and it's doing a great job at that. I went ahead and mixed her with a 20 developer. Okay, and with the toner, I am going to tone her with a level 10. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and give her maybe about 3 more minutes on those foils that aren't the first couple ones. I'm gonna start to begin to drop the first ones, and then I'm going to get her rinsed out, and then we're gonna go ahead and apply that toner. So on a normal guest, when you would have foils in their hair, we do know that our body produces heat. So normally when you have highlights in or foils in, you would be able to actually feel those foils cooking. But because this young lady is not human, you won't feel that, though the product is still going to be active and still going to be working, but it's not going to heat up. Now you can, I believe on a few of these, you can go ahead and lock your foils just because the technique, depending on how heavy or dense or the density of the person's hair, you don't want it to weigh down, especially when the oxidation starts and the foils start to swell. You don't want these to slip. So it is important to be sure that you are locking your foils if necessary, but if not, then you are okay.
So on this section here, I went ahead and put the toner on. I did let the toner sit for a good 20 minutes just to be able to make sure that it processed and actually penetrated the cuticle. Yeah, and then we went ahead and rinsed out.
I'm gonna go ahead and blow dry her out. We went ahead and rinsed her. As you can see, she has a really nice hue of highlight to her for where we did that horseshoe. I wish I had better lighting so you can see, but you can see the difference between the dark and the light on her hair. So again, we all know when hair is wet, it is darker than what it is. So I'm going to give her a nice blowout and then jump back on camera so you guys can see the final result. Our client did not want to leave out today styled or anything like that. She just wanted a nice blow dry just to be able to see her highlights. Again, she had a natural 4 with a red hue. We went ahead and highlighted her with, again, the Matrix Light Master. And I went ahead and used a 20 developer. Again, 20 developer is going to give you more of a light jog, not a run. 30 developer is going to give you more of a run. 40 is more of a sprint. I then went ahead and toned her. With her highlight, I did a horseshoe technique. I do love a horseshoe technique because it does leave the undertone to the natural color while still giving a bit of highlight needed. If the client wants to pull their hair up, you can see it is two-toned there. You have the natural color, and then you have the lightened tone here. And then I went ahead and toned her with the Synchro pre-bonded So Color Sync in the color 8CG. And again, both of these products are pre-bonded, which I love when using to highlight a client, because we do know with highlighting already, we have to naturally break that bond and the cuticle swells in order to be able to be lightened. and then the bonds have to be rebuilt with the treatment afterwards. Whether that is a shampoo treatment, a take-home treatment, whatever it is that you and your client discuss. But with the Matrix products, that's why I love them, they have a natural pre-bond that helps rebuild that bond and make the hair stronger after it is lightened. So again, we did a horseshoe technique on this client, and we then went ahead and toned with the So Sync. You can see the two-tone here, and again, I like the horseshoe because it gives our client more of a natural highlight look. She's able to flip her hair on this side. This is again where her natural part was, so that's why I went ahead and parted her here, but you can see that she has her highlights going throughout. So again, I did not flat iron or anything like that. Our client just wanted to leave out today with her hair highlighted and a light blow dry to be able to see her color and dimension. Again, I just wanted to thank you guys for considering me to be a Matrix artist. Again, the products that I used today were the Light Master, and I went ahead and used the So Color Sync with 10 and 20 developer. Yes, again, but otherwise, again, thank you all for your time and consideration. Thank you.